get up and down off the floor with your children? If there was an emergency, could you pick your baby up and run? That's how we should think about our physical training, our fitness journey.
So, do NPC do have a natural shows? They even have a natural pro qualifier in Pittsburgh, and he says, "Go back to what love got to do with it." Angela was really buff back then. Yeah,
Oh yeah, she was her. I feel like for a lot of us, Angela Bassett was the first woman who had arms that we
right.
all were like, I want my arms like that.
Yeah,
And even to get a lot of women, we could get great muscle definement just with our body weight,
right.
doing push-ups correctly off your knees, being able to hold up a plank. That engages your entire body. I know NPC has the natural qualifier, but I'm not scared. I want to get on stage with all of them. I
Mm.
really want to be able to um, set that standard that you have that choice, but we can build just as much muscle as those that do take the drugs. That was one of the things that the coach that I have now, she she placed first. She was natural and she went against women that was not. And when she told me that, I was like, well, you think I can do it? And she said yes. So why not? And
Yeah.
again, I'm such a baby in this journey. I have time, but I'm getting that pro card. There is no way and I'll come back to the show soon as I get my pro card. But I am definitely getting my pro card, and I do want the first one to be with OCB because I do want to go back home and do it in front of my family. But I want NPC too.
Yeah.
I
Do
want it
your
all.
family have your family been to your shows?
Yes, that
Oh,
the one in Ohio. All my family is in Ohio, so I had
okay.
uncles, my parents, my nephews. I had a crowd there, and that was important to me too because I want them to continue. I want them to eat better. My parents, they're older, and they, as we old, we like to snack on chips and crackers, and there's so much sodium, and I don't want them to have health problems. So I want to show them what we can do without necessarily saying do it. I want to be that role model. I really want to set the precedent for my family that we can live healthier. And I have my cheat days. I just came
Mhm.
from an 8 day I did an 8 day cruise over the new year. I gained some weight. And I did not track, I did not count a calorie that entire 8 days while I was on vacation. Now I'm back home and it's time to get focused.
I
And again, I'm the extreme version.
right,
Everyone don't want to get on stage.
right. I'm assuming like do you like go through body dysmorphia or you don't focus on that
Yes,
too much?
I have to catch myself, and my friends are super supportive.
Yeah.
So when I'm thinking in my head, oh, I look fluffy. I know I don't look fluffy, but I look fluffy for what my goals are. And so I'll share that conversation with my friends, but I'm mindful not to just make general statements. If I'm talking to someone that really don't know my background or that I'm competing, it you do get to the point where you're like, I want to look better. What can I do more? What can I do more? But it's important to have that community, to have those people that you're talking to because I'm not where I want to be, but I know I'm not where I was.
Right.
So it is a constant struggle. And again, that's what I really liked about starting my journey a little earlier because I do after the show, I have a group chat, OCB ladies. And we talk to each other. We're communicating on social media. So I'm able to stay grounded, but I think if you're doing this without really having that support system or I'm very in tune with myself. I'm very conscious of the things that I say. Also, because I am an educator and I used to work with a younger population. I know the power of the words. So I'm more mindful of what I say, but it can really, there's days I, I lost a couple of abs while I was on my vacation. I was like, oh no. And I'm like, but it's not normal to walk around with a six pack. That is just it's okay to have some weight on you. What we look like on stage, that is not how we walk around year round.
Yeah. Right. So I understand. Yeah.
And again, that's the difference between natural and those that may be taking enhancements.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have too much to say about the enhancements. I mean, to each his own. I know I know like that at certain points, some of them they kind of do lose hair, and some even have breast implants because like that disappears when you gain a muscle, that chest it disappears a lot, and so they have to. So I guess they want to look feminine, and they have them breast implants. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot that they go through. I mean, I don't know.
It can, but that's why I said we have to be very mindful of what we're putting in our body because it
Right,
do have different side effects. With women, you'll hear the change in their voice. Their voice tend to get a little deeper.
right,
So, again, I'm not here to pass judgment on anyone. My thing is really to encourage women, specific, mainly those that are hitting later age. We need muscles to live. We women lose a lot of muscle as they age.
right,
We need to be able to, like you said, Angela Bassett dropped to her knees and got up.
right.
A lot of us can't do that. Okay, if we drop to our knees and tried to pop up after 40, and I tell them, like, that's why I said, can you sit on the floor and get up? Can you get down on the floor and stand up on your own? That's important. You should not, typically, we should not struggle with that in our 40s and our 50s. We should be able to move. We should be able to walk without assistance in our 60s and 70s. But because of the lifestyle that and I'm saying we because I was headed down that road
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah,
Um, because we're not teaching ourselves, you know, to be active. And again, because the women see the extreme side of bodybuilding, they think those 5 pound kettlebells, they're going to get those big shoulders and those big things. My shoulders are, again, and that my Instagram and my TikTok, it's a lot of videos of me doing pull-ups
right,
because I'm like, we can do this naturally, and I still very feminine. I
right.
still have a very feminine shape. It's just a little bit more toned than the average 43-year-old. I think I saw a question. I wasn't able to read it.
Yeah,
That was
hold on. I'll show it. I'll show it back. It's a comment. Linda Hamilton, Terminator 2 was the first that got attention for her arms. Yeah, yeah. If you see Linda Hamilton, I don't know if you seen Terminator Judgment Day. She was working out. It's a scene where she does these pull-ups, and she's buff a little bit. Like she look like she could be like a natural bodybuilder. Yeah.
yeah, that one. It was what's love
Angela
got to do
Bassett did
with.
it to you.
Yeah, that was my Tina Turner. But even Tina Turner had an amazing body.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There was this bodybuilder I interviewed, and she was influenced by Angela Bassett when she did Love Got to Do with It, that movie. I haven't seen that movie for some reason. I just didn't.
What?
I mean, I've seen some scenes of it, but for some reason, I just this there was rumors about her, and I don't know about the
Yeah.
beaten up thing about it. I just kind of, I know the movie. It's more like an exaggeration from what I understand, and
Well,
I don't know. I always
I'm gonna
kind
stay
of,
away from that part. But I was saying, like, her portrayal and her body,
yeah.
like that stuck out tremendously.
I'll
And
probably
then,
check it out. I'll probably check it out since
um,
you telling me. Yeah.
but even
Um,
how Stella got a groove back.
Yeah,
her arms were amazing in that, and that I think that may resonate more with women because that was like a little later. It was a huge box office hit, and
right.
she was an older woman, but in amazing shape. And then one of the things that's I think is super cool for the sport right now, for Mr. Olympia, one of the competitors, he's a vegan,
Okay. I never.
all natural. Oh yes,
Yeah.
I want to say his name is Torrey Washington. He's going to be competing for Mr. Olympia, all natural.
Some people feel like that vegan thing is really tough, like especially for bodybuilders, because it's a lot of food that they gotta consume, and you
It
know,
it's not an easy sport.
yeah,
I did go vegan for a while in my early journey. I just again I like food. I like
right,
grill. I There were some things that I like meat, so I
mm,
don't eat as much. But to get that protein, that to be a vegan, that is a lot. That is, that's
yeah,
a whole different level. That's a mindset. But it's great for the sport for him to be doing as well as he's doing as a
yeah,
natural competitor. And again, it shows everyone, especially men, you don't have to take any enhancements. We can do this. It's just time consuming. He's older. I almost want to say I know he's older than me. I don't want to put a number on her, but he's an older man.
yeah.
And he'll be
Do I mean
competing.
like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Go
off.
ahead.
Do you think like bodybuilding it's not really shown on TV like that? Like, do you think that you know natural bodybuilding could get some light, in your opinion?
It would be great. That is, I am not as social media savvy as I would like to be, but I've
Yeah,
been very intentional about posting more because we don't see the natural side. The natural side, that's not what is advertised. That's not what is out there in mainstream media. Um, so I do think bodybuilding gets a very sometimes a negative portrayal
yeah,
because you're seeing the extreme. You're not seeing the other side of it. And then there were quite a few who passed away early age, and so I think bodybuilding does sometimes have a very negative connotation because of what most people see.
yeah. I
But
mean,
it's
even like bodybuilding, like the the enhanced bodybuilding, they really, people don't really pay attention to it like that, or even really care. In my opinion, well, I think it's really a fact. And I don't think it's so much of opinion, but the public don't really like pay attention to it or talk about it. Like they'll have some shows and it's never like mentioned in the mainstream air. Like sometimes they do get that light, like probably like in local news, they'll talk about a bodybuilder, that's competing, and but it doesn't. It's not like how back in the day, like I would say 80s, 90s,
oh
like
no.
bodybuilders were like in talk shows or nothing like that. So yeah,
No, it's during the Arnold Classic and those things. No,
yeah,
it definitely has lost that spark, and that's where I said it's very important for people to be educated on it because I went to the first event that I went to, I was discouraged. I was like, oh, I'm not ready. No,
mhm,
I'm not going to be ready no time soon. But again, that was one of the best experience because the sisterhood, if I could say, was just there. It was such a supportive environment. And even if I'm definitely getting on stage again, but even if I wasn't going to compete again, I would. This is a lifestyle for me now. Like I will not be going back to just working out 3-4 times a week. My body, my overall mental health is better because of my fitness journey. And so that I think that's an important side that we often don't talk about, where you can, if you're not mindful, you can, really develop some bad habits. But again, my stress, my anxiety, I used to have anxiety attacks. I don't have them no more. I sleep 8 hours. My overall mental health has improved because of my fitness journey and because I'm eating better. I used to uh, drink a lot. I don't drink as much. I don't drink. I really don't want to say I'm not gonna say I don't drink at all. But the way games, it's been football games on today. I would I would be sipping and watching games all day. That is unheard of for me to watch football without a drink in my hand. I would have a glass of wine at night to settle down. My body can't handle that anymore. That the wine, and these are not. I'm not saying these things are bad, but in excess, they do have a toll on you. So I can't drink a glass of wine every night now
Mm.
because I can't. I'm not going to get up on time to go to the gym, and going to the gym for me before work is how I start my day. My overall productivity is more. My overall interaction, my ability to deal with stress is impacted by me getting to the gym.
How long do you stay in the gym? Like let's say for tonight, like how long would you plan to just stay?
So my weekends, because I go at night and there's typically empty, that's when I'm there for a few hours. But within those few hours, I'm doing a lot of a deep stretch. I'm practicing my posing. I'm putting on my heels, and
Okay.
I'm in the studio. I'm in a whole different part of the gym, walking around, squeezing, flaring out my lats, practicing my quarter turns. I may do a T walk. I'm doing the things that I would do on stage at the
Right.
gym.
Do you be by yourself or like do you have somebody that's with you?
No, I go by myself.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, I'm not trying to scare you, but like a while back, I remember there was this bodybuilder and she was like in the gym. I think it was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, and some dude was there and then he started attacking her and but she fought him off. And it
oh,
yeah, it
Florida is
goes,
a open carry state. We know that, right?
huh?
But Florida is open carry.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
I'm by myself at the gym, but there's people in there, and I don't necessarily talk to everyone, but I do feel safe at my gym. You know,
Okay.
you tend to see the same people, and
Right.
so,
It's a
you know,
community more of a,
it's a community.
yeah,
It
I
is
got you.
definitely a community.
That's
So
good.
there's a couple of young guys that, they always come over and, hey, how you doing? They check in with me about my shows. I say, everything's great. But I do feel like, when I'm walking, when I'm leaving, they're keeping an eye on me and always, acknowledging when I leave. I'm not naive. 'Cause, I
Right.
have on my headphones, but I never have my headphones on when I'm walking to and from the car. I wouldn't go if I didn't feel safe.
I understand.
I'm the only girl. My dad, my brothers don't play about me, but no, I'm safe. It's just a matter of me being able to get in the gym and focus and zone in. And again, I don't mind going with people, but I'm going because I'm working on a goal. So I'm doing, 4 sets of 10 on the incline bench, and I'm lifting heavier. I don't necessarily want to chit chat. Like,
Right.
I am, I will say this: if I see another woman, like if she's trying to do pull-ups or something, I will always stop to support, to encourage, to spot. But I'm working on a goal. So when I'm in there, especially if I'm going to be in there for 2 to 3 hours, I need to be focused because um that person that beat me last year that got first place, I bet she was in that gym working hard.
Right.
She wasn't in there hanging out. She was, she's lifting heavier. When I'm in the gym, we always say it's me against me, but I know I didn't get first place because someone worked harder. So now when I'm in the gym, I have to be focused. I have to go through, am I doing my rep correctly? How is my form? How's my breathing? Now I'm tired. Go do a set in the studio and do that walk, flare out your lats. That's the hardest part for me. So I have to be very intentional. I got to set up that camera so I can see, am I, am I flaring it out? How are my hands placed? How are my feet? Are my toes pointed? Um, are my feet right? It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work. Okay, it's not something that you just do. I could go to the gym for 30 minutes and get what I really need to do. Not 3 hours every day. No, that's excessive.
right.
That is not but again, if you're doing cardio, if you're doing the lifting and the posing you have to do for an hour.
Mm,
You really have to be very intentional with your posing because one hand placement changes the way your back look if your hands are out versus in. How are you creating that V with your back? It is very detailed. I could have a better physique than one competitor, but she poses better. The Remember I was telling you earlier that there was a young lady who told me I should have took second place. She got second, and she said, "But it was your posing,"
mm.
and she
Like
showed me. Excuse me.
in OCB, like for figure, like how many poses that you have to work on?
Um, Four, but well, and they kind of threw in a pose that I already like I was prepared for.
Yeah.
But I'm also talking about at the amateur level.
Okay.
So you really have to be able to stand, do your quarter turns, and really that lat spread. That's like the big one. And they'll sometimes in the middle of while you're on stage with everyone ask for that double bicep. So that's that one there. And being able to hit it the right way and
Yeah.
still smile and look natural and squeeze in your core so that everything is popping.
Yeah. I
And
heard
even
that's a
just
lot. Yeah.
that's you start to cramp up on stage.
Yeah.
Like it is you haven't really had much to drink. You've already dehydrated yourself to really get the muscles popping. You're at a calorie deficit. You're on stage exhausted. But once you get on stage, all you tune all that out. All the pain, the heels are not comfortable. But when you're on stage, none of that matters at that moment.
Mm, yeah. Let me read some of these chats because this guy he wrote a lot. Bodybuilding can be mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially draining. Like for you, like what do you do? Like you're a fitness trainer, right?
I do that on the side. I'm a program manager at the University of Miami. I have a full time.
Oh, okay.
But no, it is very expensive. So I did get sponsors because the the little green suit that you pulled up, that was one of the cheaper ones, and that was $300.
Mm,
And that was one of the cheaper ones. You got to get tanning. Yet as a chocolate woman, yes, I got a tan. You have to get waxed, and it is a toll financially. So that's where social media, these type of opportunities, you do have to put yourself out there. People are willing to sponsor.
yeah.
They I've been very lucky on this journey because people have invested in me. They've been proud to watch my journey. So, and then like you said, you're in Brooklyn. The show I did was in Orlando, and one was in Cleveland. So I had to fly, and I drove. I'm in Florida, so I drove to Orlando. You got to get the hotel. You have to pay
Mm,
to get in the competition. Then you pay for every division that you compete in. You pay for your membership. It is financially, as an amateur, you don't you get your first place. You don't start to make money until you get your pro card.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know some of them they do get like prizes and money. Like do you have like a favorite competitor as a pro in OCB? Like I know like the Yorton, they got the all the pros and stuff and you know.
um, no, that's why I said I am a baby in this journey. It was something that
Okay.
I wanted for me, that it was like, I genuinely love the way my body look muscular. I When I put on a dress, you can't tell me nothing. I like having a stronger physique. So I didn't get into it because of others, it's because I love the way I looked.
Right.
And so, and I'm competitive. I'm a little competitive, and I just felt like this was a better avenue for me to release stress than sitting around drinking. And I'm like, you can find any hobbies. I'd rather be in a gym now. I
So
find the
you
benefit of being in a gym. If
so
I have
you
a problem at work that's stressing me out when I'm working out,
right.
the answer comes to me while I'm in the middle of my set.
So you look at it more of a lifestyle than a sport.
Oh yeah, this is a lifestyle change for me.
Okay. So let me see. The Five Heartbeats, The Color Purple, and What's Love Got to Do with It were my
Mhm.
mom and sister's favorite movies.
All
And
classics.
you say, let me see. There are more fighters that died than bodybuilding. So yeah, that thing he mentioned it because I think you mentioned that there's bodybuilders that passed away, but you do hear a lot of bodybuilders that pass away a lot. Like you hear it. For me, I don't know that many boxers. I don't really watch boxing too much. Only thing I probably looked at was old Muhammad Ali clips or Mike Tyson clips or anything like that. But I did like nowadays you're hearing like bodybuilders like
W-
just passing away.
because the enhancements, that's why I say like you're putting stuff in your body, and those tend to
Mm,
be harder on your heart, and they're not meant for long-term use.
right,
So you if I again, if medically needed, it's one thing, but for bodybuilding, and I really want to say his name is Torrey Washington. He's a vegan, like older gentleman. You can build the muscle. It's just putting in the work. You you cannot build muscle overnight. It is not a quick, I'm going to have build out my arms in a couple of weeks. Oh no, it takes years. Like it is a lot of work to build muscle, and